keep it moving. Got a bit of a navigation hazard coming up into this stretch.
Return to me. I stand.
I shall depart.
Let's see how well we manage to navigate this situation. We have a couple of foes here that you can see. You can see only the two. But rest assured, more adventure awaits us. I'm actually going to prepare Majesty as an option. Take off the neck guard. I'd like to pull just these two. The mini-boss and another one are over there. I believe. I hope. I don't think there's anyone to my left. I didn't actually pull anyone. I pulled. Damn. There we go. Good work, Willem. You were the better pull here. Next. There is Athelios. Athelios? That axe right there? Bad news. That's the official report. And looks like bad news is coming to a theater near you.
Find the foe.
The ability that Athelios is using here is from Animalism. It's called Draw Out the Beast. Now, blood healing can reduce the beast, but if I'm at full health, it could be a larger issue. And looks like our mini-boss only has eyes for Willem right now. And I don't want Willem to be in that situation. Okay. Let's get her out of there. Okay. There's our mini-boss resolved. Or is he? He said... Frowning. Yep. Yep. There we go. I'm not sure where our mini-boss is absconded to. And heightened senses cannot spot him. Mini-boss is somewhere. There we go. Get her out of there. Mini-boss. Suppose I could pop a heightened sense of scroll. There we go. Now, you may have read the Awaken Discipline description at the start of last episode. And note that it's intended to be used on friendlies. So I don't know whether this is 100% an oversight on nihilistic software here, or whether, like, say, it's intended to be used in, like, multiplayer chronicles for, like, the storytellers, or, like, say, in the process of telling a story, if, like, the player characters want to bring us, like, an NPC back. I don't know for sure. At any rate, this revival gives you experience points. You know, like, you get a kill every time. Every time you get a kill, you get the experience points, and you roll on the loot table for the enemy. And our mini-boss here has a 100% drop rate of that special battle axe. Now, I noted that I could have picked up the Awakened Discipline and combined that with, what, the cost of that's 25, with all of the bottles of blood I have that I could drink. Experience would not be an issue, and we could soar through the cosmos with incredible power for the rest of our days. I do not intend to do that. I just wanted to show off to you all that infinite power remains there. It exists. You don't have to use the console cheat menu, which is not enabled by default. You don't have to go into that to gain real ultimate power. There we go. We got 3 axes for our trouble. Huzzah. The moment you do an area transition, the body fades into the ether, and you won't be able to target it anymore. That's good. Our inventories are pretty packed now. Exciting. I think there's one more enemy that didn't come along for the ride in here. Also, it looks like Serena's having a moment. Let's continue. You can use that exploit with any enemy you can awaken in the game. Athelios is a popular target due to the guaranteed drop of a valuable item to sell, and the fact that he's worth 500 experience points per kill. Another one that comes to mind is a Tremere Lord later in the game. Doesn't have a guaranteed drop, but can drop some nice wealth, but is worth a good chunk of experience. Gotta have some fun in life, though, right? Gotta treat yourself. And show off real ultimate power. And fill up your inventory. Don't worry, we'll be going to sell this stuff real soon, and when I say we, I mean me. I'll cut that out. You don't need to see the excitements of shopping. That was pretty good handling. No one frenzied out. I managed to prevent Willem from doing so. And here's a shortcut to the Golden Lane.
Stand thy ground.
Good to have caught that in time. Enorna's shop is right there. Okay, so I'll be right back, everyone. I'm gonna go vend. Woo! A demonstration of not identified pricing at work. This battle axe, if you don't know what it is only worth 85 gold. These are worth 340. And that's at our starting manipulation scores of 25.
Welcome, child.
There we are. Only took me 2 tries. Discipline bracelet. What cost? 69%. Grab that. As for what I may sell, go ahead and chuck that. And that. And so on and so forth. Also, I have teased myself long enough. The Exquisite Halberd has been plenty of fun. I have enjoyed the extra reach from Osradun living to moments even in Joseph's tunnels. In clogged areas, the ability to reach out behind an ally and strike, particularly if the enemy pathfinding is bamboozled, really helps in applying damage on a target. But yes, there has been enough of a tease. It's been real, Exquisite Halberd. It's been real fun. Come here. The power is mine. Now, it could have been an Exquisite Fulchion. That'd be higher accuracy, but 10 less damage, but no. Look, the blade's all wavy, curvy. I've been wanting it. We're gonna attack faster. We'll have room for a shield. We don't have Eyes of the Beast anymore. It's gonna be awesome. Finally, let's get the experience points spent. We'll grab our third dot of majesty. As you can see, the fourth one does cost 6,000. Eyes of the Beast over here to increase our visual senses. Oh boy. We can thank all that extra experience I got from the mini-boss for being able to grab this third dot so early, treating ourselves. That's right. We're worth it, damn it. Willem? This costs too much, but we can secure the fifth dot of blood healing. Fucking za. And I can grab 4 more points of dexterity. I'm 4 XP short of getting up to 55. Make sure we secure those hits. And Serena, you keep holding on to your experience points. He says as he just goes ahead and grabs the 5th level of blood healing. That's Fickle Grimith for you. Fickle Grimith indeed. And we're back. I stopped by Petrin Hill for a midnight snack. Let's proceed. How you doing?
The path of Caine is the only escape. Follow it. Let it lead you.
You got it, buddy. The path of Caine. Joseph's Tunnels 3. Markedly different decor. Story time, everyone.
In the beginning, there was only Caine. Caine, who sacrificed his brother out of love. Caine, who was cast out. Caine, who was cursed with the lust for blood. It is Caine from whom we all come. Our sire's sire.
That looks like Caine to me. I miss my halberd already. I'm not even in combat. Just seeing it.
For the passing of an age, Caine lived in the land of Nod, in loneliness and suffering. For an eon, he remained alone. But the passing of memory drowned his sorrow, and so he returned to the world of mortals. To the world of mortals. To the world his brother and his brother's children had created.
Well, looks like a world. That looks like a world. Let's proceed. If you go through the wrong door, you'll be sent back. The wrong doorway, I should say. The wrong portal. The passage.
Though he became ruler of a mighty nation, Caine was still alone. For none was as he. His sorrow grew once again. Then he committed another great sin, for he begat progeny, of whom there were only 3. But from them came more progeny, Caine's grandchildren. And then Caine said, "An end to this crime. There shall be no more." And as Caine's word was law, his brood obeyed him. The city stood for many ages and became the center of a mighty empire.
Looks like 3 kids to me. Just like us. The triumvirate. What a coterie. Shield brethren. Ha 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 ha. Let's move on. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. Beep beep.
But then came the deluge, a great flood that washed over the world. The city was destroyed, and its people along with it. Again, Caine fell into a great sorrow and went into solitude, becoming as a dog amidst the wastes, and leaving his progeny to their own ends. They came to him and begged him to return, to help them rebuild the city. But he would not come with them, saying the flood had been sent as punishment for his having returned to the world of life and subverting the true law.
A great flood. The deluge. Rest in peace, city. Looks like a flood to me. It's another reflection on sound packs being used and reused in games and movies and television shows across the years. There's a monstrous roar, just happened several seconds back. It happens in the background, and I swear I've heard it in Duke Nukem 3D.
A great war was waged, the elders against their children, and the children slew their parents. The rebels then built a new city and brought to it 13 tribes. It was a beautiful city, and its people worshipped them as gods. They created new progeny of their own, the 4th generation of Cainites. But they feared the jihad, and it was forbidden for those children to create others of their kind. Although this city was as great as Caine's, eventually it grew old. As do all living things, it slowly began to die. Their city was destroyed and their power extinguished. With their authority gone, all were free to create their own broods. And soon, there were many new Cainites who ruled across the face of the earth.
13 tribes. First-person view certainly does help with this. Having the widescreen view without the widescreen fix absolutely would not help you with this at all. Although first-person would certainly ameliorate that. But if you didn't know about that, you're just trying to catch these here at the tops of screens, you'd have a bad time. We made it through. Let's not click on the door for a return trip. Now, I don't know how long this video has been, given I'm going to be editing out backtracking and almost all the shopping. So I'll end this here. We're near the end of our trip to retrieve the reliquary. This seems like a good place to stop it. Besides, future Grimith would like a separate word about a discussion which has arisen in the comments. The last bit of this video does not directly involve gameplay. Instead, I would like to broadly address feedback provided in the comments for this series, as well as feedback left in my Discord server. That's discord.gg/Grimith for a hyperlink. There are no perks for joining it. Nothing fun happens there. I digress. The specific feedback I'm referring to stems around Diablerization, Diablerie, the Amaranth, and whether that's fucking happening at all, and what the repercussions, ramifications of that would be. You're overthinking it, but you gotta have something fun to do with life, right? So let's pursue down this path of overthinking it, as we take the video game and we take the rules of the Vampire the Masquerade tabletop role-playing game and kind of suss out what the fuck is happening here. For starters, the golden rule. The video game does not consider anything that's been happening to be Diablerie at this moment in time. And because the storyteller says there's no Diablerie, and the solo player character in the single player chronicle says there's no Diablerie, then there's no Diablerie. But maybe that's not good enough for you. And also, maybe you have no fucking clue what the hell this is on about because you haven't actually been following along. You're like watching this in 2027, and you're a little late to the party, and Google has shifted how YouTube comments appear again, so the threads have been lost, and you're like, what is happening? I elected not to skip this part and just move on to the next episode. Help me, Grimith. You got it. So, Vampire the Masquerade Redemption uses the revised rules as a basis for the video game. The revised rules came out in 1998. What you're about to see here in this final section is from the 20th Anniversary Edition, which, for these particular portions, are the revised rules, just with different formatting, and I like the different formatting. Diablerie is something that the Elder Kindred, the Cainites, the vampires, the Licks, dread even more than fire or the light of the sun. Sin, known as Diablerie. The act of feeding on a vampire in the way that a vampire feeds on a mortal, but it's a bit more involved. You take a vampire, you empty out the vampire like a Capri Sun, and once the vampire has been exsanguinated, you keep going. But instead of there being nothing because you've crumpled up the empty Capri Sun in your hand, you start struggling with the soul of the vampire you're trying to devour. Yes, that's a fucking thing. Committing Diablerie is just that. Keep going, and then you keep going. And then you keep going, and if you succeed, if you successfully inflict enough metaphysical health levels, you entirely devour the victim's essence. This is easily failable, like say with a botched roll on the extended strength. It's also interruptible, and once it's interrupted, you don't get another shot. Vampire 5th edition spells this out explicitly in their Diablerie rules section, but I take the paragraph you see down there in the bottom seriously and severely. Stopping for even a moment ruins the chance of capturing the spirit. Final death occurs, the spirit moves on to the afterlife. So, this is a time-consuming process that needs to happen and is not happening over the course of our action role-playing game gameplay. When Kristoff devours all of these vampires, he lures into his embrace. Now, if you have any questions about the kiss and how no one seems to be fucking breaking it at all, if you look at the bottom right section, we have a little bit about the kiss and how extremely pleasurable it is, even for other vampires. And as there are like no self-control / instincts rolls, there's no willpower characteristic. We just keep it moving. When you've got someone in the kiss, if no one else interferes, they are there for the rest of eternity. That's how awesome the kiss is. Your characters can be trapped in it the same way. Although the artificial intelligence, both of your adversaries and your coterie mates, have a tendency to let go when they have had their fill instead of getting a guaranteed kill. Huh, that rhymed. I guess I am kind of awesome. Yeah, so all of that. Now, let's say you've just committed exsanguination. Like, well, what happens with the vampire who's in your hands? That wouldn't be final death. I'm looking at rules as written, Grimith. Fuck you. You don't know anything. This is all this bullshit. Rules as written would be the golden rule, but we'll play along with that too. So, if a vampire is out of blood, if there are any situations at which they may be called upon to use blood, they would lose health levels. So they would slowly begin to deteriorate from a fully healthy status into incapacitated, or in this case, if they're out of blood, they would go into torpor, and if they were fed blood, they would rise and not have to deal with the rules for coming back from torpor due to health point damage to the blood loss. But Grimith, the vampires are going to totally be at full health, even if reasons. You have them kissed. Just been exsanguinated. You crushed the Capri Sun in your hand. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. You're the one who made this incredibly complicated by living in a world where all of these vampires have been diablerized. I'm trying to help you. Much like the help I provided by showing off that you can awaken enemy vampires who have clearly crumbled into ash, so long as you don't go through an area transition. Okay? And yes, the final death part can be provided quite easily through your bite, because a vampire's bite deals aggravated damage, provided it's being used in combat instead of being used in a kiss. So it goes. If you had claws from, like, say, feral claws, that would also deal aggravated damage. I think that about takes care of what I need to say in regards to, like, the actual tabletop background rules involving Diablerie, if you wanted to learn more about that, and why none of what you're witnessing in the game is Diablerie. And why none of it is actually Diablerie is because the video game says it's not Diablerie. And the player of the single-player chronicle is also saying it's not Diablerie. Now, there will be Diablerie later on, potentially. An opportunity will present itself. I will also go so far as to say that canonically, Christoph has Diablerized. Right, it's true. It is canon. And Vampire the Masquerade lore. There you go. Big spoilers. Woo! I didn't even warn about those. Now they're in your head. Maybe you'll live with those for the rest of the time. Maybe you'll forget about it. Maybe you already knew. And in that moment, that's when the storyteller and the player say, yes, this is a Diablerization situation, instead of a combat mechanics resolution. Okay? Great. Glad we could have that talk. I won't leave you, though, in eternal blackness. You enjoy Christoph's face here from the opening introduction as I ride off into the fucking sunrise. Because I'm a vampire. Yeah. I will eat the final death right now. Farewell.